Hey guys, off the Mike Sports Network here, talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers. This was a dominating win on Friday night. They beat the Memphis Grizzlies, who at the time were the second best team in the Western Conference, and they pretty much annihilate them. I mean, the final score doesn't really indicate like how dominant this was. No Donovan Mitchell. I mean, anybody who wants to say that this is a Mickey Mouse run that they've had, like, I mean, they've beaten Memphis twice in this winning streak. Memphis is a good team. They beat Boston. Yes, granted, Boston was without Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis, but still, this has been an impressive run. And going to Memphis, going on the road without your best player and winning again, going away despite John Morant going for 44 points is impressive. And I continue feel like I'm beating a dead horse here in terms of okay, um, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse and just, saying, "Hey, Cavs don't get enough respect." It's literally a thing because I don't think people understand how great of a season it is, and it comes into perspective because we're talking about Oklahoma City. They beat Memphis. Oklahoma City universally has this respect because of what they did last year, what they're doing this year. They're running away with the Western Conference. Um, you just look at some of these metrics and like it's almost like people don't watch these games or just take a look at the numbers and understand what is going on with the Cavs right now. Cavs lead the NBA in offense, net rating, and you guys may snicker at some of these metrics, but these metrics matter. Historically, best net rating in the history of the league is the 95-96 Bulls at 13.4. I don't know if anybody's ever going to touch it. That's one of the greatest teams of all time with Michael Jordan. They won 72 games. The Warriors were able to, beat them in terms of wins, but in terms of like net rating and some of these other numbers, um, the Bulls are one of the greatest teams of all time. Oklahoma City second at 12.5 in the net rating. The Cavs, they come in. So we have Bulls in 96-97. We have a tie for fourth at 11.6, which includes the Warriors, the team that the Cavs beat for the NBA championship, or actually that was the season after. It was 2016, 2017 with Kevin Durant, and then obviously last year's Celtics. Then 15-16 Spurs, actually one of the best metric teams. And then tied for so basically now you have 4 and then 6 and then tied for 7th. They are with the Celtics of 07-08. That's the big three with Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett. So the Cavs at 11.2 have the 7th best net, or tied for the 7th best net rating in the history of the league. Yet they can't get the same love as the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't understand it. It can't be small market. Oklahoma City's a smaller market than Cleveland. Like what's the argument here? Then I'll take it a step further for you guys. Cavs, second best offensive rating in the history of the league. Currently, second best offensive rating in the history of the league, behind last year's NBA champion Boston Celtics. No respect. I don't get it. Then we take it another step further. Second best defensive rating in the history of the league, behind last year's NBA champion Boston Celtics. Barely. Again, what am I missing here? What am I missing here? And you guys could say, "Yeah, Mike, you're a mark," and you may be right. But again, any objective person could look at those metrics, look at what the Cavs have done, blowing away a Memphis team that is one of the best teams in the Western Conference, universally considered one of the best teams. They've beaten them twice in the last 2 months. They've beaten them twice on this winning streak, and they beat them going away without Donovan Mitchell. Without Donovan Mitchell. And I've seen people like Shaq go, "Oh, I don't know how the Cavs are going to react when Donovan Mitchell gets shut down." Donovan Mitchell didn't even play. The Cavs, I think, had 6 or 7 guys in double figures. This is a historically great basketball team. And for whatever reason, maybe it's because, hey, they're not used to seeing the Cavs be this good without LeBron, or, hey, we're trying to find reasons to say, hey, Boston's still going to win because they still have Jason Tatum, they still have Jaylen Brown, they have all these guys. Guys, it is going to be a dogfight to win the Eastern Conference this year between those two teams in particular, because I don't think the Knicks are going to be an issue. The Cavs have run over them, and Tom Thibodeau's running his guys in the ground. Indiana's a little bit interesting. Milwaukee doesn't really worry me. I mean, everybody's going to talk about Philadelphia, but Joel Embiid shut down. It seems like Paul George may be shut down too. But listen, really, what it's going to come down to the Eastern Conference is if the Cavs can clear Boston, then like, it's really going to depend on, hey, does Oklahoma City get through the Western Conference? They should, but you've got LeBron and Luka, and then you got obviously Jokic, and there's some other people in that conference that can make things a little bit interesting. But we've got to get past this whole thing of like, the Cavs and people like who are paid to talk about this stuff. Some of whom are, are paid NBA people. Some of whom are just, hot take people. Can we give this team some love, for God's sake? Like Stephen A. Smith, a guy who notoriously gets ripped for not knowing shit. It's amazing that he's one of the only people in the national media who seems to acknowledge what the hell is going on in Cleveland, Ohio. Like, I gave you the numbers. Like, they are the second best. I have the second best offensive rating in the history of the league, second best defensive rating in the history of the league, and I think they're what, the sixth or seventh best, net rating overall in the history of the league, behind some of the greatest teams that have ever been in this league. And I think I saw something that like there's another stat that a team they're 55-10 right now. And like I think there's only been like one of the teams that won 55 of their first 65 games that didn't win the championship. I think it might have been the Warriors in 15-16, and that might be the only team that ever didn't win the title. So the Cavs are on a historic pace, and it's going to be about them to create their own legacy, because I think some people are resistant because, hey, this team, most of their core guys haven't been to like, really the promised land outside of, Max Strus and Tristan Thompson, really. And Tristan Thompson doesn't really play. Max Strus is really the only contributing guy who has like, been to an NBA finals in his career. And that was with the Heat a few years ago. But yeah, we've got to have some sort of intervention with the national people, because listen, it's one thing if you want to tell me, hey, we're not going to give the Cavs love because they're a small market team. It's like, guys, what the fuck is Oklahoma City? I get they have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's going to probably win MVP this year. The Cavs, I would argue, are a more well-rounded basketball team than Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City has the best player, no question. I mean, frankly, if it were me, I would take Donovan Mitchell over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but that's just me because I'm a Cavs homer. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's one of the best players in the NBA. And, Donovan Mitchell willingly has taken a step back. And I think that's made this team better to the point where, you're seeing guys like Darius Garland step up. Evan Mobley is molding into one of the best players in the league. And who knows where he's going to be in 5 years. Jared Allen's has had a really nice season. And then they have all these guys off the bench. You have Max Strus, you have DeAndre Hunter, you have Ty Jerome. You have Sam Merrill. I mean, I could keep going. It's insane. Like, and now they got Javonte Green, like, is like their seventh. Like, it's insane what this team is able to do. And yet, for some reason, people are just saying, oh, they're a regular season team. I gave you the numbers. Like, offensively and defensively, they're second to only the champion Boston Celtics from last year. That's it. And they're like the sixth or seventh best net rating in the history of the league. And some of those teams that are ahead of them are some of the greatest teams that ever played in the history of the NBA. Can we start to acknowledge seriously that something great is happening in Cleveland? How they finish it is going to really be the legacy of this team. But for now, this dismissal and just this, blowing past, saying, oh, it's going to be Boston, Oklahoma City, or, it's going to be Denver could get there, or, hey, like, I'm not really buying into, the Cavs. Let's stop that. 16 in a row. They have 3 win streaks in more than 12 games, 2 more than 15. And they've set a franchise record with 16 in a row. And, again, like I said, 55 of their first 65 games they've won. It is a historical pace that is going on in Cleveland, Ohio. We need to give Kenny Atkinson credit. We need to give the rest of this team credit. It is a remarkable turnaround. And, we'll see if it gets paid off in the end. But the bottom line is they need to get some more respect. I'm going to keep quoting Roger Dangerfield in this channel about this team because I feel like they don't get no respect. All right. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.